Hey everybody, I'm Anjali and this is More Than a Conqueror. We talk about real issues, give godly wisdom, and talk about things that are relevant to your life today. On the panel today, we have three beautiful ladies, Jihan, Nisi, and Sherry. And the topic that we're talking about is a juicy one today, and I'm really excited about this topic, right? It's called a good man.
Ooh,
what does that mean? What does that mean to you ladies? What's a good man?
Well, I don't have one of those, so maybe I should go back to all the bad ones.
And that's something that's really important too. I think that's something that can help us learn what a good man is. All the bad experiences that we've had, right?
It's true.
So what do you think about that?
Ooh, well, immediately going back to all the ones that just listen when they don't even know me and they just walk up to you like, "Hey, girl, hey, let me get your number." You don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
So just being rude in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Not respectful.
Something more like heart to heart, like you know me, like not just what you see.
Yeah.
Boom. Not a good man.
Okay, that's good. That's a good way to narrow down what a good man is by describing what a good man is not.
That's hilarious. I think a good man is a man that serves. A man that serves, it could be at church, it could be a man that serves his family, his wife, his children. Yeah. And to me, just seeing men serve in the local church, there's nothing like it. Dating a man that serves in God's house, you will not be disappointed.
Now, why do you think that's important, though? What does that say about him?
If he is serving in God's house, chances are he's generous. He's generous with his time. He's generous with himself, just of who he is. But he's thinking about other people as opposed to just his needs. And so to me, it's a deal breaker. Like if somebody isn't serving, chances are no date.
That's good.
That's really good. What about you, Nisi?
For me, based on my experience, a good man is like what Gian said, who serves, but who loves God. Who loves God above all else and who obeys God. And that's what I look for in a significant other, because at this rate, if you know that God has your best intentions at heart, that everything he does is for you, then if you have a man that loves God and obeys God, then you know whatever he does, as fallible as he is, because we all are as humans. If you are dating a man who obeys God, then you know that if he listens to God, that whatever he does is also in your best interest. And that's how I gauge.
So how can we tell, like, what does obedience look like?
Good question. Yeah.
Dying to self. Somebody who, like serving is a great way to do it. It's like all the other factors that come with like what you would want in like the ideal man or whatever is in your heart, like a man who loves family, is financially smart or has a financial plan, all those things that kind of that perfect, I guess, picket fence kind of ideal is closer when you're with somebody who loves God. I don't know. I just feel like when he obeys and he serves, all these other factors fall into place, I guess is the best way to say it. So when he serves God, he's not concerned about himself anymore. So when you know that you're in a relationship, that he's going to do things in the best interest of the relationship, in the best interest of the community, in the best interest of the family, versus in his own self-interest and self-seeking, his own desires.
How do you know if a man is doing something to be genuine or if he's doing it as, okay, I want to impress this woman? Sherry, want to tackle that one?
I do, because something that I have learned is knowing their reputation. They should have a reputation that's going to speak highly of them, to see the results and the fruit in their life going on. That's how you can tell if a man is being obedient to God by the people that know him. Like, how's he serving? How long has he been doing this? And if I don't have a group of people that can say anything about the man, then listen, you need to go on your way. I'm going to go on my own right now.
Okay, so then I think that also brings me to the next question. I do have some questions here, but now I'm talking. So, what about the woman who does love God, and she says, "I'm going to go to the club and find a man, or I'm going to go to the bar," or even not even someone who's seeking someone in that situation, but if she finds somebody and he's not involved with church, what would you recommend?
Run. I would say run. Save yourself some time and run. I've been in that situation probably more than I care to admit, and all I can say is it's like going around the mountain. And it's obedience, and it's, yes, you can go to the club, and I used to say, hey, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to lead, I'm going to lead him to Christ, and it's the missionary dating, and it doesn't work. It's like, I've even brought people to church, men, and they raise their hand and accept Christ. I'm like, yes, another one for Jesus. And it's like, no, the man is called to be the spiritual leader of the household. It's not the woman. We're not called to be the leader and to go find a man. God says it's specific in the Bible. Like he who finds a wife finds what is good, right? And so he finds us. We don't go to the club to find him. So I would say steer clear of going out to find a man, even at church. Let him find you. Just the way it works.
I guess that answers my next question, which was, how has your perspective changed on what a good man is? I know we've all had experiences. We've all had experiences. A lot of them maybe not so good. But do you want to talk a little bit more about what that perspective used to be, and then how it's changed and what it is now for you?
Sure. So I guess I'll start with this. For me, I've learned everything the hard way. So for me, it was by actually learning that I would go out and meet somebody and then bring them to church, and it just didn't work out. Like I've even lived, I lived with a man, and then I heard our lead pastor talk about, like just living with somebody isn't correct if you want God to honor your marriage, that bless your marriage, that to do things the right way. Long story short, now I'm in a godly relationship, and what a difference. I met my guy who was serving at a convalescent home, not at a club, not at a coffee bar, but at a convalescent home. And it's so different when you meet somebody that's serving in God's house, somebody that our pastor knows. Like if the pastor knows your name, it's probably good that he knows your boyfriend's name, right? Yeah. Like it's like when you're talking about like his reputation and everything else, it's like if you can go to your pastor and be like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And you know what I mean? It's like, so
just like what Sherry was saying,
so different.
Exactly.
The reputation. And it's Pastor Philip, our pastor has said this, like we will put more into a job interview, and people will look at our references in a job, and we'll do that. But when it comes to dating a man, a lot of times we're like, oh, he's cute, or he's well-to-do or whatever, but we're not thinking future, like we would anything else. And it is the second most important decision you'll make is who you end up with besides accepting Christ, right? So it's got to be at the forefront of our minds. And I feel like the enemy would love nothing more. I feel like he distracts women so much with this, especially where it's like we're in the church, we're serving, we're doing everything right, and then nobody's asking us out. Then what do we do? And then that cute guy somewhere else does ask us out, and then boom, off track. So we just have to be aware.
Okay, so talking about a good man, can you each give a good example of how you discovered what a good man is?
Actually, I have a really funny story with Anjali's husband, Kenneth, and that was when I first started going to church, and there was a little Thanksgiving dinner with an organization called Treasures, and I went to that dinner, and that was the first time I experienced men serving, because the men were the ones that cooked for all the women in the organization. And then at the end of the night, I was leaving, and Kenneth was like, "Where's your car?" And I was like, "Well, it's right out there. Not a big deal. I'm an independent woman. I can walk to the car." And he said, "Let me walk you." And so I'm walking to the car, and in my understanding, no guy walks you to your car unless A, they're your brothers, B, you've been friends forever, or C, they're trying to holler at you. Right. And I was like, this is sketch. Like, why are you walking me to my car? What's your ulterior motive?
That's good. That's real.
And he didn't say anything. Like, he asked me very simple questions, general questions like, hi, like, how do, where do you live, etc. It's not even like, like, tell me about yourself or whatever. And I felt... we just have that gut feeling and that instinct. And I think a lot of times we need to trust that more. And I just felt nothing. It was the weirdest sensation in the world. And I was like, he is totally not hitting on me. Wow. And he was like, open the door for me, like a gentleman. And he was like, have a good night. And his Kenneth, like one eyebrow raised way. And I sat in the car, and it just hit me. And I was like, that's what it is. Like, oh, I get it now. I get it, what it means to be protected. I get it, what it means, like how men are supposed to be, or that's God's intention. And I was just like, I feel safe. Like, I feel like you're not trying to, get into bed with me or anything like that. It was, you really were just looking out for me because it's the right thing to do. And I really understood what the right thing is.
That's good.
So.
That's good. Cherry?
Ooh. For me, my perspective changed when, it's not fun. I hate when guys ask me out, and I know that I don't want to go out with them. I hate saying no. And so I think it says a lot about a man and the way that they take, situations that are hard, especially rejection. Yeah. And so what I've been used to are, men get kind of bitter. Like, you just rejected them. Like, you don't want me. Like, I don't want to talk to you anymore then. And so I had experience with someone who was a friend of mine who straight up asked me out. And so on a date. And so I had to tell them, like, it's not because I have a boyfriend. It's not because, of anything else. Like, I'm not attracted to you in that way. Wow. And so when I told this person that, the way they responded completely caught me by surprise. He responded with, well, first off, he said, well, I will be eating Haagen-Dazs tonight and watching Pretty in Pink. But then he went on to compliment me and just the woman that I am. And so, and then even took a moment and continued to talk about, what was going on in life and in ministry and our friendship, and just took another 10 minutes after that. And then even when I saw him again, he was still so friendly, like, it doesn't matter, even though you said no, like, I respect the woman that you are. That's the reason why I asked you out.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, what a difference in, like, what I've been used to, and men just being, like, done with you. And this man who's like, it's okay. Like, when the way that they take in hard situations and, like, the way they respond.
So good.
Shows what a good man is.
So that's great. That's awesome.
For me, when I came back to church about 3 years ago, for me it was just as a bride, just watching how the men served, and so much as them not even letting me lift a box, or just always making sure, like you said, getting walk to my car, or if I had anything heavy to carry, they were there to do that, or open doors, and just being gentlemen, and being protective. So it was more me seeing men, in a whole, like just the men that were planted and serving in God's house and how they honored and respected us. It just blew my mind. Completely changed the way that I view men.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love those stories. You can't dispute a story.
No,
because it's your life experience. And I love that we've learned what a good man is not, and what a good man is. And so if some of the women that we end up mentoring, and I think that whole mentorship can actually happen through these webisodes, these webcasts, so that's really cool. But it's good that we're sharing these stories and that we're able to tell them truthfully, hey, this is what to look for, this is what not to look for. And we know what we're looking for, and we know that God does have our back. Yeah. He's got us, no matter what.
He's faithful.
We're going to continue this conversation, but we're going to end right here for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on More Than a Conqueror, and we'll see you next time.